Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We're continuing our progress in the Intro to GIS Programming book by Qiusheng Wu. Today we're doing Chapter 11, Loops and Conditional Statements. I put a little bit of a cheat sheet here on latitudes and longitudes because in the last video I was like getting the two confused. That was kind of embarrassing as a GIS person. But a lot of the exercises this week say to create a list of tuples, coordinates for latitudes and longitudes. And so I figured I would start by making, sourcing some data, some random coordinates, trying to mimic a data set I would get in real life that I would have to clean first before I could actually work with it. So you can see I've got this here. And the way that I sourced that information was I just Google searched like random list of coordinates and then found this random list and do this again. You'll see that the coordinates here are the same coordinates here. So I just generated 5 points just to work with this. Since we're working on loops, it doesn't really matter how big the list is. But let's actually take these values and put them in a list. So we'll call it random chords. And we'll create an empty list. And I know I have 5 coordinate pairs here. So put some quotes there. I'm just going to copy and paste these values in. All right. Added an extra parentheses there. All right. And let's print this just to make sure that we're got everything going. Okay. So I want to access each of these items individually. So for that, I'll use a for loop. For I in random chords, print I. Oh my gosh. For I in random chords, print I. All right, now we're accessing them individually, but I need to split the latitudes and the longitudes from each other. So I'm going to do I.split, and now you see I have a list of each coordinate pair. Where the latitude is in front and the longitude. The latitude is the first value and the longitude is the second value. And I'm going to define a variable in this for loop to isolate those from each other. So let's make a value and call it latitude. And let's do I.split. And we want to reference the first value in that. And let's print latitude and see how we did. All right. So you can see what I've written here has this first value. Now I'm going to define a value called longitude and do I.split and reference the second value. Okay, so now I've got the latitude and longitudes isolated from each other. All I want to do is clean up this formatting so that any of these degree symbols are replaced with a period. As in this instance, 55 degrees, 10 minutes north turns into 55.1. So anytime I have a degree symbol, I need to replace it with a period. So I'm going to look up string replace Python. So let's try this, dot replace. And it's going to ask me for the old string, then the new string. So let's, anywhere that we're going to find this degree symbol, let's replace it with a period and see how that works. Okay, we've gotten that successful. Let's go ahead and reproduce that here for the longitude as well. All right, so now I need to, anytime that there is the minute symbol, I want to remove that entirely. So let me try this, replace the minute symbol. All right, I removed it entirely. Cool. Now, now I need, anytime that there is a north, I need the value to stay positive for the latitude. But anytime that there is a south, I need there to put a negative sign in front. And alternatively for the longitudes, anytime it's an east longitude, I need to stay positive. It's a western longitude, I need to put a negative sign in front. So we need to figure that one out. Let's see here. If these values are always going to be in the back, so if the latitude of -1, first let's, we know this is working correctly, so let's print the latitude of -1, and I think that should give me like the north. Do this string indexing here. All right, there we go. Put it in the front. I only want to reference the last value. If I want to reference like the last two values, I'll put a -2 here, a -3, so on and so forth. But I only want the last value, so we'll do -1. All right. So what we want to do, if latitude -1, I believe I don't even need to put this here. Is that true? All right, save myself a character. I don't even need the colon here. Okay, if latitude of -1 equals n, and let's do let's do like dot upper, just in case if it was lowercase. Python if then. Yeah, that's what I forgot to do. The colon here. Okay. Then we want to take latitude dot replace n with nothing. Else let's do elif. Latitude of -1 dot upper equals south, and we want it. Then we want it to be negative. Then we want to do I think we want to do latitude equals latitude to replace. Latitude equals else latitude print error. Okay. And after we do these if else, let's print latitude. Okay. Yeah, equals, right, equals here. All right, let me go ahead and it looks like we got the right result here. Yeah, let's go ahead and print just the latitude as well, just so we can make sure. Yeah, we got 55 north, 55.1. We got -11.45 south. Or so we got 11.45 south. Oh, and we need to get rid of the south on the -1. So we also okay. Latitude dot replace south with nothing. All right, so now we've got -11.45. We got no errors this time around. And we're going to want to do that same thing for longitude. So let's just do it for now. Let's just copy all of this, but switch all this to longitude. And then we want our western values to be, our eastern values to be positive. And we want our western values to be negative. So if I scroll down here, you can see we have 11.45 south. Now let's go 43.12 east, East is going to stay positive. We have 70.24 west. West is going to get turned to negative. Okay, so now we have our latitudes and longitudes that are properly switching to like the decimal format and properly identifying which hemisphere they're on. Now we want to package each of these latitude and longitudes as a tuple. So let's make a variable called chord pair, and tuple is going to be in parentheses, and we want the latitude on the first value and the longitude on the second value. Let me get rid of some of these print statements to neaten this up a bit. And we want to print this chord pair. Look at that. We've got a tuple now. And let's print the data type. So the type chord pair. They're all tuples. All right. So yeah, so that's effectively a for loop that'll package these into tuples, which I think is going to help here. But I want to create a list of tuples, so I actually want to turn this into a function. Hang on a sec, I don't know. Turn this into a function. So to make a function, which I actually don't learn until the next chapter of the book, but we're going to do the definition. I've done this in the last, just look it up here. Python function. There we go. So much better. Okay, so we want to do a definition. Let's call our function chord list. And we want to input our coordinates. And well, essentially we'll take all of this I got to make sure all this formatting stays proper. Yeah, all of it still needs to stay under this. And then we want to return, we want to return this coordinate pair here. Let's get rid of these print statements. And let's try to use this function. So we'll do chord list. And for our variable, it'll be that list of random coordinates. And then we're going to print print chord list. See how we did. Okay, we returned 55. So we need to chord pair. So okay, we have a tuple here. That's correct, but we need it to append a new value every time. We need to make a list and look up the append. Okay. Let's do an empty list here. And then chord pair. Chord pair is going to equal chord pair dot append. We're close. We're close, but it modifies the list in place. So let's go ahead and print chord pair here to see, and let's we returned nothing. Just a letter T. So why is that? Huh. It should at least print. Well, now it's just in a definition. Okay. All right. Yeah, so I still have to return the chord pair and then bring it down and call the function in order for the function to do something. Don't think I need this anymore. All right, so interesting that it's returning an empty value. Chord pair dot append. But I'm redefining chord pair every single time. Is that my problem? Do I need it outside? No. I need it inside the function, but I need it outside the for loop. So every time it runs, it'll return something to the chord pair. And I'm still getting none. Dang it. Random chords. Maybe this is the problem. No, I don't think that's it either. Ah. Why is that not appending anything? Avoid assigning the result append back to the list variable. This will assign none to your list, which is what's happening here. So Let's try that. Let's try this then. It's still returning none. Python.org can help us out. Okay, that at least returned the first value. At least we got one thing here that's going to do it right. But I need that to happen every single time. Why is it only working once? It's only working once. The return statement needs to be outside of the for loop. The return statement needs to be outside of the for loop. Fun. Now the next thing I need to do, I need these guys are getting separated, which gonna have this print the chords each time and see what happens. It looks like it's only doing the one it's only giving me the latitude. It's only doing the first for loop here. Okay. Or the first if. So maybe I need two different for loops. before I get too carried away with that idea. Right here, I'm going to generate a latitude value, and I'm going to generate a longitude value. Which I have here. Course is a list. Now for they're strings. So I don't want those to be strings, I want those to be tuples. So okay, so I didn't actually need. All right. I see. Okay. All right. Well, I did it. I made a function, which is pretty cool. So we're able to take this information from this website here, these random coordinates. So let's say we have a list of like 100 of these. We have a list of 5 in this example. That's not formatted in a way that we can do the exercises with. And we have created a function that will effectively parse all of the coordinates and put them in a usable format, a list of tuples that will then be able to use in the exercises. And I will do that in the, I'll use this function in the next video. Super cool. All right, thanks.